Thanks for choosing us. Now, Parliament's Committee on Energy is racing against time to find solutions to the current power challenges witnessed in the country. It has therefore summoned all stakeholders in the power sector to a crucial closed-door meeting to comprehensively address the issues at hand. Well, this meeting has been triggered by growing concerns from the public about the recent power outages, popularly known as Dumzo, across the country. Chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee in Parliament, Atta-Akyea, earlier this week gave a hint on Newsfile.
I think there is a problem. And be careful that you don't export the problem to the people who are supposed to have the benefit of your service. That'll be double trouble. The people who are supposed to have the benefit of your service, should be informed. That's what I'm saying. Whether it's a generation deficit, financial challenges, or whatever your problem is, you owe it to your own integrity to tell the consumers that, look, I'm having these problems. This is how we want to ameliorate your trouble. So I'm informing you in advance that you won't have power from this hour to the other hour. You won't have power from this day or whatever it is. A very credible timetable, having regard to your own challenges, so they plan their lives. But if you say that, oh, I'm having a problem, and I will show you how you also will have a modicum of comfort by way of a timetable, I'm afraid that is a very, very clumsy arrangement we shouldn't encourage. Because you give the power, you distribute the power. You know your distribution challenges. They don't know. So you know how you distribute the power, whether you want to, supply power to this area, maybe Akusumo, JB, whatever. You should have a plan. Because if you are not careful, then what is happening is that let me treat the people who consume electricity as I please, because I'm having challenges. This is where I believe it will not...
In complying with the orders of the PURC, they have indicated how many notices they have issued over the period.
Where are they?
Several of them.
Well,
informing the people about the situation and how they are making efforts to resolve them. That is not treating the people with impunity, is it?
Well, I am not aware of what they've done before this demand for timetable or stress strongly. That is my point of view. If the people had a timetable, why would they be disturbing your peace regarding the timetable and all the kind of problems that is associated with the timetable? Where is the timetable? Now I'm educated that the timetable is out there for people to see. Let's do proper education and give information as to the timetable. And then people will plan their lives. I'm listening to a doctor who is saying that for some good reason, surgeries are not safe. In the first instance, I was going to tell the doctor that you need a generator in a hospital setup. No dispute about it. Automatic generator, where when you don't have power from electricity company of Ghana, it switches automatically. Well, in the middle of a surgery, if you are saying that, oh, the power source, I'm not sure, and you are playing lottery with the lives of people. So I crave your kind knowledge that if there is any hospital in Ghana, one important machine that a hospital should have, we should have automatic turn on from ECG power source, and then it kicks in directly. It's a generator.
He spoke about the situation where the response is that it took about 2 minutes for them to be able to switch over.
Well,
and somebody had alleged that a child died as a result of that, and they came to explain that you can't trace the death to the outage. And he says 2 minutes time is very critical when somebody, is under the knife.
Right now, they have an understanding of what they do in the hospitals and the sensitivity of the matter. We have automatic...
Precisely.
I'm a switch. Excuse me to say, I don't want to talk about private matters. So if you want to be antiquated, I'm afraid it's a joke. So off and on. Because you are doing something which is life and death.
They talk about cost and cost of fuel.
Well, what is superior to life? So life is life. You can't negotiate life. I don't see why you say in the name of cost, you have the most important machine in your backyard so that when you are doing an operation and it's a life and death issue, you save lives. So please, what we are trying to argue, we don't have an excuse. It is imperative that those who are looking after lives, whatever the situation, even when we are in normal times, and we don't even have doom so, a very critical machine, which is a generator, should be in the background. And it should be automatic so that you won't lose life. But let me tell you one of the things I believe is happening that we all agree. I do not believe we should play jokes with the electricity generation. We shouldn't play jokes with it. That is why the Committee on Mines and Energy, we are very serious about this matter. We want to converge and bring all the individuals in the value chain for us to interrogate the matter properly, that we know what the problems really are. And then the experts that some of the members are, we will be able to proffer solutions to some of these things.
Let's take you now live to Alisa Hotel here in Accra, where this crunch meeting is happening between key stakeholders in the power sector. My colleague Samuel Imbura is our man on the ground. Sami, I know that this meeting was initially scheduled to involve media coverage, but turns out it would be closed door. What has changed actually?
Right, firstly, it is exactly so because there's an advice from the national security that because of the sensitive nature of the power sector, it will not be appropriate to put such information out there. That's why all the stakeholders involved in the power generation supply chain are currently before the committee. So they are doing this to at least allay public fears or not to create some fear and panic out there, because the national security advice indicates that if the information is not properly managed, it can create panic out there, as well as having some implication on investment in the power sector and the mainstream economy.
Now, who are some of these key stakeholders that you've seen so far?
Right, so all those who matter in the generation, distribution and supply chain of the power sector in the country are there. I'm talking about VRA, ECG, we have GridCo, we have the independent power suppliers, we also have the PURC, and all those who matter in the energy sector. So all of them are currently before the committee. As you can see right behind me, they are done with the meeting, and then they are moving out. So what I do know is that they were made to answer questions regarding the current power situation that we have. So if it is a generation problem, VRA, what is actually the problem, you tell us. And those who operate the plants will come in and then explain. If it has to do with distribution, GridCo comes to explain. And when it has to do with supply, ECG would do that. And what I do know is that they were made to answer these questions under oath so that no one would peddle out on truth to the public or to the committee. So all of them have had their chance to, to explain the reason we are having the current doomsday situation in the country. So it has actually been a comprehensive engagement with these stakeholders. The meeting started around 9 a.m. and then looking at our clocks now, about 1:15, the meeting has actually come to an end. But the Energy and Mines Committee is here till Monday. They're actually raising against time to see how they can find lasting solutions to the challenge that we have at hand. We know that recently the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, had to call in the Energy Minister and all those who matter for a meeting on the power supply situation in the country, and then it was resolved that at least the power that we export to other parts of the, other countries should actually be suspended so that we can meet local demand. We do also know that was on Tuesday. The Energy Minister was in. The Energy Minister was somewhere in Togo, where all the stakeholders were there. So this conversation came up, and that's where the minister mentioned and the issue about gas supply, the need for us to have more gas supply. So right in our shores there, we have the ranking on the Mines and Energy Ministry, committee in Parliament, Mr. Jinapo there. I earlier engaged him. He said the chairman of the committee will officially talk to us on that. But let me just try and ambush him to see whether he can give us some information. Honorable, I know that chairman is likely to address us on this issue. But briefly, can you tell us, this is a bipartisan committee meeting the stakeholders. How has the conversation been so far?
Oh, very fruitful, very honest. And like I said, the chairman is coming. So let me wait for the chairman to come and brief you. And if I need to add something, I'll do that. But I can assure you that it was very honest, transparent. The facts have been laid bare, and now we have a clear understanding of where the challenge is.
So what's the clearer understanding here? What's the problem? Is it generation? Is it has to do with distribution? What's actually the problem?
Just 1 minute, let me get chairman.
Okay, so we have the ECG boss himself here, Mr. Dubik Mahama. Mr. Dubik Mahama, you're live on Joy News. Mr. Dubik, I know you are part of this crucial meeting. What do you have to say to Ghanaians watching us?
We are still in the meeting. We are almost done. When we are done, I'm sure the committee will...
What's your assurance to Ghanaians watching us now?
But the assurance is that we are doing our best. The lights are going to stay on. Most of the transformers that we spoke about and the intensification exercises are almost done, so we should just stay positive. There will be a proper statement as to the way forward.
Are you shedding load?
We are currently not shedding load, so we are not shedding load. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So that's ECG Managing Director, Mr. Dubik Mahama, talking to us there. I will get closer to to the conference hall where this meeting was held. We are expecting Mr. Samuel Atta-Akyea, who is the chairman of the Energy Mines Committee in Parliament. But earlier you heard me speak with Mr. Jinapo, who is a ranking member on that committee, and he told us that the conversation has been fruitful with the stakeholders there. And Dubik Mahama says that the conversations ongoing is, towards resolving the situation. But what he has to tell us is that they are not shedding load. But so we are still waiting for the chairman to come. I just spoke with the ECG boss. What he tells me is that, you have already resolved everything and you'll be communicating to us the details of it. We know initially it was supposed to be open to the media, but we understand National Security Advisor, because of the sensitive nature of it, it should be held in camera. What more does the committee want to tell Ghanaians? We know you are keen on addressing this situation. How soon do you want to resolve this?
Well, it's obvious that it's a generation challenge. It's been confirmed that there's a deficit. Even as at yesterday, they were shedding load. And so clearly, this issue of transformers is neither here nor there. The root cause of the problem, as was confirmed at the meeting, is fuel. And that if they get fuel, this load shedding will be curtailed. And so...
Let me come in. Samuel Mbura there interacting with some of the stakeholders at the Aliza Hotel, where they're having a crunch meeting concerning Ghana's power crisis. Well, you heard Abu Jinapo, who is a member of the Mines and Energy Committee in Parliament. He says that it's been confirmed at the meeting that's a generational problem, and then they need fuel to fix the problem. He also confirms that they have been shedding load. But when my colleague interacted with Dubik Mahama, who is boss for ECG, he confirmed that they are not shedding load. So these are varying views. I'm sure the key issue now is how to ensure there's power in our homes at night. My colleague Samuel Mbura is back with us. Samuel, you've been interacting with some of the stakeholders there. We lost your feed briefly. Go on.
Timber, there's always been a generation deficit, and that is confirmed. With the parliamentary committee, you cannot come and dribble anybody. And we put straight, direct questions to them, and they answered in the affirmative. So there's
they were under oath, that's what I'm told.
Yeah, if you appear before Parliament, you cannot lie. If you lie, it's perjury.
Is it because you wanted to unravel the truth? That's why you made them to speak on under oath, or that has always been the standard practice?
It depends. In fact, the chairman did not even administer the whole oath. He just made it clear that they ought to be honest. And I can tell you they were very honest. They said the truth right from generation to distribution, the challenges, the generation deficit we are having. Yesterday there was load shedding. The reason being that there's inadequate fuel. If they can procure fuel, the load shedding will curtail. They were not very definitive as to the date when they can get the fuel, and so we've directed that until the fuel is gotten, they should communicate to affected customers way ahead of time with immediate effect, so that they can plan their lives. Thank you.
So Chairman is coming. Let me try and reach out to Chairman Samuel Atta-Akyea, who is the Chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee in Parliament. But you've heard Mr. General Paul talking to us about the conversations that went on there. It's basically a generational problem, and once they are able to generate the money, that should be resolved. And also he is saying that they have asked ECG and all the sector players to issue a timetable in that regard. Honourable, thank you very much for joining us on Joy News. Ghanaians should be grateful for this all-important meeting that you've held with the power, the players in the power sector. What actually triggered this?
Well, you see, we stand for the people of Ghana. The parliament is the people's representative. And therefore, if something touches on the people of Ghana, we should be very interested in trying to see how we'll bring resolution to the problem. Today, I want to say that I'm very confident in President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that for 7 good years, he's kept the power on. The challenges that he's facing now in relation to the power sector will nip it in the bud at the shortest possible time, because that's a legacy which should not be besmeared. The conversations we've had so far, very good. Some of the technical challenges relating to fuel and the rest of it, they will be tackled. And very soon, we bounce to normalcy. So we enjoy the glory of the 7 years, and we won't have this conversation.
All right, so is it my understanding that it has been arrived at that maybe the challenge has to do with generation, and you are directing that they should get that issue fixed?
Yeah, certainly. You see, because you won't have power outages if demand, is met by the supply. That is just arithmetic. So if there is under generation, which there's an admission there is one, we should do everything in our power to make sure that we generate enough power for consumers.
So after this engagement with the players in the power sector, what next for your committee?
The next for our committee is to monitor what is going on and see that as it's been resolved that it is not going to be a permanent feature and that the resolution will come as quickly as possible. We should have it. So that it's not just a meeting, but the reality is with us that we won't have this conversation as to power outages. We don't want this conversation. For the past 7 years, we've not had this conversation, and we should ensure that it will be something that we won't discuss and that we're enjoying our normalcy.
So, Honourable, are we expecting that after this meeting, there should be a timetable from ECG to help Ghanaians plan their lives?
Non-negotiable. I think the committee was very strong on the matter that if there are power outages, it could be a problem. But the bigger problem is that those who are enjoying power should know when it will be available, and then they plan their lives around the timetable you furnish them. I think they are not averse to that. It is imperative, and they are going to do it.
So far as your committee is concerned, what is your assurance to Ghanaians that you ensure that you hold them accountable to get them constant supply of power?
Well, the committee is very, 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 very concerned about returning to the good days, 7 years of good supply of power. And we will do everything in our power to monitor the situation. Ministry of Finance is involved. We will make sure that what they are supposed to do, they do it. ECG is involved. We ensure that what they are supposed to do, they do it. GridCo and NetCo and the challenges. The independent power producers are involved. What should come to them so that they do what is needful? We've heard it all. And these are, a value chain we will not play with. So we will monitor all the issues critically to ensure that we come back to the good old days. That for 7 good years, we're enjoying power.
So we now understand that there was a major generation problem that the committee has resolved to fix. If we can get some timelines as to the duration the committee is giving the stakeholders involved to get all of this addressed.
Well, there are some technical challenges, and sometimes it will not be too safe to say that, time X, let's tell everybody it will be solved. And when it's not solved at time X, then you come out as a very dubious representative of the people. But President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo is acutely aware of his record, which is on the line, and I know the kind of engagement I've personally had with him, everything will be done. And what I'm hearing is consistent with what he's also thinking. Now, it will not be too long. We'll be able to come to normalcy and enjoy what we've enjoyed the past 7 years. It's more concerned than we think, but the information flow is what was a bit challenging. But as I'm talking to you now, it is something that will be resolved very quickly.
We know when the president met them on this issue, his main concern had to do with the fact that we are not meeting local demand yet exporting to our neighboring countries. I know there was a meeting that the energy minister was in Togo with Nigeria and other countries to discuss the power situation within the sub-region. Is it my understanding that because we are not meeting the local supply or demand, they are seizing supply to other neighboring countries to address the current situation we have before they can do that?
Well, that is an emergency and a stopgap measure. What they've put in place, very soon they'll continue with the export of electricity. But if Ghanaians are going through crisis and you want to think about dollars and commercial arrangements, somebody will say that then your priority might be wrong. So for the now, whatever we can garner from exports to shore up the problems, to shore up the shortfall, it is fair. But we will return to normalcy and continue with the export. Because when you export electricity to, like VRA, for instance, we'll be able to stand on this commercial feet and do some good things for us. It is important.
The 250 megawatts of the Ameri plant has been suggested that it's be fixed. Is the committee putting any pressure on those who are responsible to do that anytime soon?
The pressure is on everybody, not just Ameri. Even some of the plants that are not operating at full throttle, it has become imperative that everybody should wake up. They can only wake up if some monies due them are paid. The commitment to paying them, we've secured it, and that is fine. If they have the minimum cost, monies to meet operational costs, we'll be able to have good supply of power, and that will cancel out the outages.
Thank you very much, Honourable. We are grateful for your time. So you heard the chairman for the Mines and Energy Committee in Parliament, Honourable Samuel Atta-Akyea, giving us the full details from the meeting. One, it has been resolved that all the issues concerning the power situation that we are currently facing should be fixed. The ultimate one has to do with the timetable so that Ghanaians can plan their lives. So they have asked them that with immediacy, they should work on the timetable for it to be published for Ghanaians to know. But their main objective is to solve this entire issue of erratic power supply, not just with the current situation that we have. So we do expect to hear from the ECG on this directive, as well as the Public Utility and Regulations Commission, PURC. They have all been part of this meeting. Now, the problem has been established. It has to do with generation. And once it is a generation problem, they have to fix it so that ECG can get light to supply or get power to supply to its customers. So the meeting has come to an end, and that has been the engagement, or the over 4 hours engagement, that the Parliament Committee on Mines and Energy has been engaging sector players in the value chain of the energy sector in Ghana. You can take over from me in the studio for the continuation of the Bulletin 4C.
Thank you so much, Samuel Mbura, man on the ground. If you just tuned in, we've been bringing you live updates from a closed-door meeting between key power players in the power sectors, and they have been giving us update as to what the issue is, the power crisis we've been facing as a country. Well, he's been speaking to Atta-Akyea, who confirmed that indeed the problem we've been facing with power cuts is a generational problem, and indeed they have resolved to produce more and ensure there's fuel to ensure that this issue is sorted out. He also assured that in coming days, ECG will be coming up with a timetable to help you plan your daily schedule. Well, he also spoke to Dubik Mahama, who is boss for ECG. He said that there is no load shedding ongoing currently, But then let's see how that works moving forward. This consultation will be going on for a couple of days. And finally, we're hoping that the end of the consultation would see consistent power in our homes. Let's move on to other stories now, because the government of Ghana, in consultation with stakeholders, have reviewed the producer price for cocoa for the rest of 2023-2024 crop year. The producer price for cocoa has been increased by 58.26%, from 20,928 Ghana cedis per ton to 33,120 Ghana cedis per ton for the rest of the 2023-2024 cocoa season. Well, the figure took effect from Friday, 5th of April. The chief executive of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Joseph Wahin Edu, says that the increase in the producer price of cocoa has become necessary to enhance the income of cocoa farmers in line with the vision of the NPP government and in response to the rising prices of cocoa on the international market. Well, let's get more on this. Joining us now is Head of Corporate Affairs at Cocoa Board, Fifi Boafo. Thank you for your time here on Joy Newsroom. First of all, what necessitated this action by government?
Press release issued. It's largely due to the increase in price at the international market, and this is what has informed the decision to improve the farm gate price for cocoa farmers. You will realize that at the time of increasing the producer price September last year, we indicated that the producer price is based on what is achieved from the international market, and then a sizable quantity for the year had been sold already. But just after the announcement, we've seen a very sharp increase in price, which gives us a room, despite the small amount of feelings that were left unsold, to be able to realize something significant for us to be able to improve the farm gate price for the cocoa farmers. Another reason also has to do with the fact that by delaying the announcement, it also gives room for people to smuggle the cocoa, because usually when people anticipate a major jump in price and then the announcement is not made, they quickly get in, buy the cocoa from the farmers, skip it from Cocoa Board until the new announcement is made. But with the announcement at this time, the expectation is that we'll be able to take delivery of the cocoa and then sell them at the international market. So largely it has to do with the price as we've seen at the international market. That is what has informed this decision.
Is it interesting you would make mention of international price markets? Because the minority, they're raising concerns that, in fact, the increment that we're seeing is a ripoff of the hardworking cocoa farmers, because the international price is a bit higher. What's your response to that?
I think the analysis by the minority is one that does not look at the real facts of the ground. The minority make reference to a price at a particular point in time. With your indulgence, I would like to say that the price at the international market is not what you see on daily basis. Yes, because on daily basis, what you see is a spot price. The spot price mainly means that you have cocoa available today, you are delivering the cocoa, and based on that, that is the price you attract. What we talk about today is largely because of the fact that in the recent months, we've seen shortage of cocoa across the producing countries, and this is what has forced the price up. So the price is influenced because of the lack of the cocoa presently available. This cocoa is not available in stock today. This is cocoa that will be brought in from now to the end of September. So if you say that the mere fact that you saw a price yesterday on the international market, that should form the basis of determining the price, clearly, then you are missing the point. It is important to also note that even within a day, the price could actually change. Yes, the minority make reference to the fact that, oh, it is 10,000. Just this week, we've seen a drop to about 9,000. So if you use 10,000 as a basis for determining the price, what would you say? Just within a week, the price has also dropped to about 9,000, 9,200. There's the need for you to strike an average. So if you do not use an average to determine the price, but you just use one day's spot price to determine, then you are missing the point. Let me go further by explaining that we do forward sales. And with forward sales, the price is determined based on the time you would deliver the contract. So even the cocoa will be buying from now to the end of the season. It is based on when the cocoa will be delivered. That is the price you use as basis. So let me give you an example. I cited this on your network about a week or so ago. That, for example, in May next year, the price you will achieve is about 4,600, 4,700. But the mere fact that someone sees on the internet that the spot price for the day is 10,000 and uses that do any form of analysis, then the person is missing the point. So I believe that the minority, either they lack the understanding of how the system works, or they are just playing politics with it.
Well, finally, this is good news for the cocoa sector, but how do we fix the issue of shortage across the country?
It is good news for the sector because seeing a price adjustment as we are seeing today, the history of it dates really back. It doesn't happen that in the course of the year, the price of cocoa is adjusted twice. Remember, just a few months ago, farmers saw 5,000 increase in a bag. Today, they are seeing about 7,600 increase in a bag within a period of 5 months. In one way or the other, we should be mindful of the fact that yes, it is because there is shortage, that's why we are seeing this price. And when production returns to normalcy, it will also affect the price because it's a demand and supply issue. But the main causative agent or the reason why we are seeing the shortage is as a result of the weather condition. Because of El Nino, production has dropped significantly in West Africa. Of course, the issue of the swollen shoot, among others, are also problems. But with the swollen shoot, for example, rehabilitation is ongoing for us to address and ensure that the spread is curtailed and then we maintain farms and also bring up new farms that will not be just swept away as a result of the swollen shoot viral disease. With El Nino, it's a weather pattern that happens over a period, say 10-year interval. So we are not anticipating that in the years ahead, that is also going to be the situation. So the expectation is that going into the near future, the production challenge we face today will be resolved. What is important for us is that farmers will take advantage and maintain their farms to take advantage of the new price we see today.
Thank you so much, Fifi Boafo. He is Head of Public Affairs at Cocoa Board, for joining us here on Newsroom. Let's do other stories now. The Attorney General's office has directed the police to fast-track investigations into the alleged marriage between Babulomo and a child to enable the office make a firm decision in coming weeks. Well, the child in question last week was married to the 63-year-old Babulomo in Nungwahi in the Greater Accra region. The move comes after videos and pictures of social media went viral for their customary marriage between the girl and the priest. Well, the Numo Bokete Lawe trousseau went viral on social media, angering a cross-section of Ghanaians. Speaking on Newsfile, the Deputy Attorney General, Dinah Asunaba, indicated that the office's readiness to prosecute all individuals involved in this issue is quite high, and she described this as an illegal act.
The concern is that we thought we had made some strides, particularly including traditional authorities. And Samson, it will be remiss on our part not to appreciate the peculiarity of this particular case for the office of the Wolomo. It cannot be denigrated with all respect, and we need to give that due deference without prejudice to the non-discrimination in the application of the law. I have indicated, other than that, the Office of the Attorney General would not have issued that letter, and it would have been in the public, that proceed with investigation. I believe that what has happened, there are a number of things we need to consider. Yes, prosecution, but as I've indicated, personally and professionally, primarily the interests of the children.
That's right.
And for me, a third angle, which is an education and resensitization, it means that something has gone amiss, particularly when we've included even our traditional authorities, our queen mothers, our chiefs, etc. And in 2024, we are having these reports. And so that is why for us as a government, we need to come back and take stock. So I believe that all these considerations must be looked at.
Deputy Commissioner of Siraj Messi Labi indicates that the practice is still widespread in some parts of the country.
No. And now what we realize is that because people have known that when they perform the marriage rites, it will come out, people will see, and they will come and report. Now they will not perform the marriage rites. They will ask the child to go and live with the person. So you see the child living with the person, And then when the child is 18, they will do whatever they are supposed to do. But from 12 years, you see that the child is living with a person. In law, we call it cohabitation. And the person will be cohabiting with a man for all this while, because they know that when they perform the marriage ceremony openly, people will hear and they will report to SHRAG or they will report to the police. And I think that is another area that we have to look at. We've not received a complaint yet on this, and therefore we cannot talk about ever it's going on. But what we know, as I stated last week, is that any form of betrayal, it's a crime. That is what the Children's Act has stated.
Founder of the ARC Foundation, Angela Atta-Akyea, a private legal practitioner, wants the state to do more to protect children.
The state must still stay on course. The state must also ensure that the social welfare plan for care is in place. Because sometimes there are gaps. I mean, we live in this system. We know that sometimes our social welfare lacks the resources and all of that. So they should make sure social welfare has the resources and also has a plan that will stay on course until the girl is over 18 years old and can live in a community, with her parents, with freedom, okay? Now, when it comes to the government, I think I go with what Deputy Attorney General is saying in terms of resensitization. But you can't do it outside of your own frameworks. We have forgotten that we have set in place several frameworks. Sometimes the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, and we simply forget about it. If we go back to those frameworks and look at how we are supposed to set in place community systems of protection, they are not difficult. Sometimes it just needs somebody doing their work, putting their eyes on the ball, and ensuring that these things are happening. Sometimes they'll tell you it's the money. Sometimes it's not the money at all. It's somebody just making sure that they are doing what they said they'll do. The district assemblies are the ones supposed to protect children within their jurisdictions. How much does the district assembly, the MCs, know about the protective frameworks that we have? We have to check all of those things so we can catch the issues right at the community level and take them through the systems that we have. It is just the same people around the children who will help us to protect the children, and we need to put them in the frameworks that we already.
The Boundary Commission is seeking the support of local authorities and other state security agencies to help stop ongoing encroachment of the country's international boundary line and buffer zone with Burkina Faso. Speaking during a joint inspection of the area led by the Commission, Commissioner General Major General Emmanuel Kotia said his outfit, in collaboration with other state security agencies, will do everything within its power to ensure the protection of the international boundary line and buffer zone. Maxwell Agbagba has more in the following report.
The inspection of the international boundary line at Paga brought together all the relevant state security agencies and officials of the Burkina Faso Boundary Commission. Commissioner General of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, raised concerns about construction by private developers along the international boundary line and encroachment of the buffer zone between Ghana and Burkina Faso.
So that we can brainstorm on how we are going to solve the problem that we have on the ground, which we will be going to soon. All the buffer zone areas have been encroached, and we have built up areas, indeed, even built up areas surrounding the boundary pillars, which is against international law. So this is very fundamental, and we need to see how this we can resolve. So as a result of that, we invited our Burkinabe counterparts to come, and then we'll have a first-hand observation. We'll walk through and see practically what is happening.
Outgoing Upper East Regional Minister Stephen Yakubu said there have been similar encroachment in other parts of the region.
Then we have Korogungu, also a similar thing there. Then we also have Pasiga and Pumako. As a country, both countries, to also strategically make sure that whatever we are going to be doing now doesn't happen again. Because it seems as if people are really moving on both sides. The Ghanaian side, they are moving, building. The Burkina side, they are also moving, building. These boundaries should be respected. And the buffer zone should clearly demarcate it so that we make sure that we enforce the law so that we make sure we don't repeat what we are going to see again.
The team, led by the Commissioner General of the Ghana Boundary Commission, then moved to the ground to assess the extent of encroachment. Major General Atta-Akyea urged the local authorities to ensure the ongoing constructions are halted. Major General Atta-Akyea said the Ghana Boundary Commission will do all within its power to ensure the protection of the international boundary line and buffer zone.
What we have come here to do is to assess the impact of the encroachments on the international boundary pillar, jointly with our counterparts from Burkina Faso. And we'll be able to do the assessment. We realize that there's massive encroachment around this area that is distorting the international boundary pillar. So both of us have agreed that, yes, something must be done to these pillars. The first thing, the immediate thing that must be done is that we are taxing, or we are soliciting the support of the districts assembled to meet with the counterparts of Burkina Faso so that immediately they stop all encroachments that are taking place. The other thing is that on the Ghana side, we decided that any building that is coming, that is engulfing the boundary pillar, should be discontinued immediately. That is in consultation with the district assembly. The regional minister is also here. We've taken that decision. Going forward, we will be taking a decision on what to do to permanently preserve the buffer zone that demarcates the international boundary pillars. That is that is something that we are going to do. We are also urging Ghana Immigration Service to continue vigorous patrolling along the international boundary pillars and reports, and even the community, they should report any encroachment, any new encroachment within this area. Otherwise, both Ghana and Burkina Faso will be losing the international boundary line that demarcates us as a state.
Speaking through an interpreter, Permanent Secretary of the National Boundary Commission of Burkina Faso, Salamatu Dabal, said both countries will work together to ensure success.
La Commission en charge des frontières du Ghana, nous sommes en collaboration. Voilà,
So we are going to collaborate with the Ghana Boundary Commission as we always do, and this work requires a lot of collaboration, and we've been collaborating with them for a very long time, so we'll continue to collaborate with them for us to be able to do their work.
Deputy Comptroller General in charge of operations and command post of the Ghana Immigration Service, Lord Ofori Fifa, said his outfit will provide all the needed support to the Ghana Boundary Commission to achieve its objectives.
The Ghana Immigration Service is the first line of security along the borders. So everywhere that we have a border, especially a post, the immigration always have to be at the front. But in this case, if you look at the setting here, this is the international boundary. Our office is 200 meters down there. 200 meters. So anything that happens between here and there, we cannot see. Initially, the Burkina people, their immigration post was also about 200, the same length inside. But because of the security issues that are coming up, they have moved here. So immediately, certain instructions are being given that anything or any territory on the Ghana side, certain decisions have been taken and certain actions are going to be taken. These temporary structures here, within the next 4 weeks, we have asked them to move. Immigration is coming to create, for now, a temporary post to mirror our Burkinabe colleagues. You see their office across. That is how immigration border structures work. Always you see the other country there, then your country is also opposite. Or with time, we may decide to have a joint border post. But for now, we are taking certain decisions. These structures here, within the next 4 weeks, we are asking them to move. If they don't move, we will come and move them away, and we will create the structure here. These are the initial decisions. This is Ghana territory, so decisions can be taken in the name of our country.
Ghana's ambassador to Burkina Faso, Boniface Gambela, lauded the peaceful coexistence between Ghana and Burkina Faso. He applauded the steps taken by the two countries to deal with the encroachment of the international boundary line and buffer zone.
When we obey the boundary lines, there is peace and harmony. There is that international cooperation. There is that bond. These boundaries have a bond. And so we are bonded together You have moshes here, you have moshes in Burkina, moshes in Ghana, and all those things, BCS. So the bond between us is what we're trying to maintain. The Ghana embassy is there to provide all the necessary protocols expected. And so I think with the cooperation of the Burkinabe team here, I can see success.
Ghana and Italy have committed to step up the fight against terrorism and border security, especially in the West African sub-region. The Italian President Sergio Mattarella is on a state visit to Ghana, and at a joint news conference at the Jubilee House, President Akufo-Addo also announced a commitment between the two countries to fight the under-democratic takeover of government on the continent.
Advocates of strengthening the relationship between the EU and ECOWAS, the West African regional body, and between the EU and the AU, Africa's continental body. We believe that Italy, for historic and geographical reasons, can play a critical part in this process of bringing all of us together. I lauded Italy's expertise in areas such as technology, security, agriculture, and renewable energy, and noted that it presents valuable opportunities for collaboration with Ghana. Whilst we are keen to leverage Italian know-how and innovation to drive our economic growth and achieve our development objectives, I told the President also some of the things we're doing here in Ghana. We want to make our economy the most business-friendly economy in Africa. And I'm happy to note that after the difficulties of the last 2 years, our country, as a result of tough-minded policies, has turned the corner in its attempts to restore growth and engender macroeconomic stability. Through our free senior high school education policy, we have ensured that poverty is no longer a barrier to accessing education in Ghana.
In a statement, the Italian President Sergio Mattarella noted that the world's future lies in how individual countries cooperate, because of the success and growth of each country enriches the growth of all others as well. He observed that there is a strong bond that exists between Ghana and Italy, and his country is looking forward to stepping up the relations and improving the same.
As I think of the Ghanaian community in Italy, which is so well integrated and appreciated, I also feel we have to deal with the migration phenomenon together. It is a phenomenon which is growing, and it is a phenomenon which has to be governed. It doesn't have to be left to the cruel hands of those who traffic in human beings. It has to be governed. It has to be based on legal accesses which are authorized and which are defined together. That is an important goal we have, so that we can allow our young generations to focus on cooperation. Tomorrow, I will be visiting the Atta-Akyea Training Center, which features a project promoted by the Association of Italian Industrialists. And in that training center, young Ghanaians are trained so that they can work in Italian companies in our country. That is a positive way, I think, of defining and showing how migration has to be dealt with. During our discussions, I underscored how Ghana represents a fundamental partner to Italy when it comes to the partnership between Africa and Europe. A partnership that must be based on mutual respect and on equal cooperation to the benefit of all of us, because the future of Africa and Europe, I feel, has to be a common one. The summit which took place in January, that President Akufo-Addo so graciously attended, and I wish to thank him again for participating. That summit, I think, reiterated Italy's desire to promote a joint approach in line with the suggestions made by African countries so that the cooperation between Africa and Europe can be promoted even more. The Mattei plan, launched by the Italian government, a plan which evokes, as President Akufo-Addo said, evokes a friend of Africa and Europe. He was a major player in the independence obtained by African countries back then. Again, the choice of that name shows a desire to work equally.
Let's shift our attention now to the health sector, because the National Health Insurance Authority is reviewing its medicines list and tariffs to reflect the current economic situation in the country. Now, this is among measures being adopted to deal with the challenge of illegal payments, popularly known as co-payments, charged to clients of the insurance scheme. Chief Executive Officer of the NHRA, Dr. Atta-Akyea, says the needed systems will be instituted for automatic adjustments of tariffs to reflect changes in the economy. Atta-Akyea has more in the following report.
According to the NHRA, an average of 180 million cedis is paid monthly as claims to health facilities. In March 2024, the scheme made this payment to ensure servicing of its debts stays within the 90-day window for the payment of vetted debts. Reports of illegal charges at some health facilities, which have become known as co-payments, have continued despite improvements in payments made to the health facilities. Chief Executive Officer of the NHRA, Dr. Atta-Akyea, explains the appropriate sanctions will be applied following the rollout of incentives, including the review of tariffs.
In fact, it is actually not right that after the National Health Insurance Authority over the last year has made commitment to pay the lower level tier up to December and the upper tier up to October, and facilities are still charging our members. This is not right. We are currently reviewing our tariffs to make sure that it commensurates with the increasing pricing. Once we do that, no facility will have the moral right to charge any of our members in the benefit package that we have provided. Any provider who go contrary to the agreed principles will be sanctioned.
The NHIA is on a long-term cost-saving agenda with procurement of Ghana cards for its 6.3 million users aged between 6 and 14 years. For this reason, the target age group will be issued the National Identification Card instead of the NHIA printing cards for the group.
So we have our own money. Normally we use it to print our NHIS card. We are saying that no, we will support government to print the Ghana card instead. Are we not saving money? Are we not saving money? We are saving a huge sums of money, and it is forward thinking. Anyone who disagrees with this is not for progress.
Meanwhile, a new office has been constructed at Kumewu to serve the needs of subscribers in the catchments. Kwadwo Jumo is Ashanti Regional Head.
This office represents more than just a physical structure. It symbolizes our dedication to innovation, efficiency, inclusivity in healthcare delivery. It will serve a hub for collaboration, creativity, and coordination, enabling us to better serve the healthcare needs of the communities we represent.
The NHIA Chief Executive is on a 3-day tour of the Ashanti region. For Joy News, Atta-Akyea, Kumasi.
Well, my name is Faustina Safo here in Accra. Have a pleasant day as you enjoy the rest of our programs.